When Harry was only 4 years old, he was misbehaving in the back of the car. And his nanny said to him, behave yourself. And he said, I don't have to behave myself. I'm not going to be king.
There's a moment in every family where favoritism stops being subtle, where it's no longer about what's said, but about what's shown. And when that family is the British monarchy, that moment becomes a spectacle the whole world gets to witness. Prince William isn't just walking into rooms with applause and royal fanfare. He's walking into history with the quiet certainty of someone who's already been chosen. Not just by birthright, but by optics, timing, and strategy. And Prince Harry? He's watching it all from the sidelines. Like a former player whose jersey is still hanging in the royal locker room.
How would your mom feel about your relationship with your brother now?
I think she would be sad. I think she'd be looking at it long term to know that there are certain things that we need to go through to be able to heal the relationship.
But who knows, deep down, that his days on the field are done. Recently, during a visit to a military base, William made a comment. It was a joke, but one that didn't sound like one. Some family members might not want to see you that much. It landed like a whisper in a cathedral, quiet but echoing, especially since it came just weeks after Harry publicly extended an olive branch. This wasn't just a throwaway line. It was a calculated moment, a reminder.
Welcome back. The royal family feud is on full display once again after Prince William delivered a not-so-subtle jab aimed squarely at his brother, the Duke of Sussex.
Yeah, so during a visit to an army base, the future king joked that families are a mixed bag, adding, some of them might not want to see you that much.
William didn't need to name names. Everyone knew who he was talking about. Because here's the thing. This story isn't just about one brother being better than the other. It's about who stayed when the storm hit. The royal family isn't your average family. It's not birthday Zoom calls and awkward holiday dinners. It's a brand, a business, a centuries-old machine built on symbolism, silence, and control. And right now, that machine is in crisis mode. Between health scares, public skepticism, and internal fractures bleeding into headlines, the institution needs a savior. A steady hand. William didn't audition for that role. He simply showed up.
Only Harry will only beam him in his contribution, like you usually do, Alan, only from thousands of miles away.
Oh, but also after William has left the building. So they're still not going to be simultaneously, you know, sort of broadcast at the same time.
So the sort of Arctic nature of this feud, I think, is getting worse by the day.
Over and over. Poised, polished, prepared. He didn't sit for tell-all interviews. He didn't trade tiaras for talk shows. He stayed. And the monarchy noticed. Every handshake, every hospital visit, every carefully angled photograph. It's not just duty. It's branding. And William has become the face of that brand, the one who held the line. Meanwhile, Harry, the spare, the rebel, the whistleblower, chose a different path. He peeled back the curtain, exposed the inner workings, and walked away. And at first, people cheered. It felt brave, necessary.
Harry and Meghan announced that they would be stepping back from their duties as senior royals before going on to sign a multi-million-dollar deal with Netflix later that year. In March 2021, the Sussexes aired their grievances in a tell-all interview with Oprah Winfrey, in which they claimed a member of the royal family had made racist remarks about their son.
But over time, something shifted. Because it wasn't just that Harry left, it's that he kept leaving. Every memoir, every documentary, every podcast became another step away. And while the wounds he revealed were real, the optics began to change. It stopped looking like liberation and started looking like abandonment. In a family that rewards silence and punishes spectacle, Harry became the unpredictable one. The one who didn't just leave the room, but turned around and lit a match. Now, what we're seeing isn't just a personal rift,
The book explores the brothers' very different personalities, which are shaped by their destiny. William, of course, will someday be king, but Harry will not.
This seems to have helped William. He seems to have derived strength from his future destiny as a king. It had the opposite effect on Harry.
It's a full-blown narrative. One brother plays the game, the other rewrites the rules. And in an institution obsessed with rules, guess which brother the palace is backing? Every time William shows up to a ribbon cutting or a charity gala, it's like the monarchy is whispering to the world, "This is the son who stayed." No attacks, no drama, just presence. And in the royal family, presence is everything. That doesn't make Harry the villain.
One of the criticisms that you've received is that, well, okay, fine, you want to move to California, you want to step back from the institutional role, why be so public? You say you tried to do this privately.
And every single time I've tried to do it privately, there have been briefings and leakings and planting of stories against me and my wife.
Far from it. But the truth is, absence leaves a void, and William's been filling it, quietly, consistently, powerfully. He's not just earning praise, he's becoming the monarchy's anchor in a storm that still hasn't passed. And here's what's wild. Even people who don't follow royal gossip are picking up on it. They see the headlines, the photo placements, the tone of coverage. They see the favor tipping. This isn't about crowns and thrones. Not yet. It's about public trust, public image.
There are lots of reports about them as little kids and that they were just different sort of personalities from word go. And I think they were also definitely conscious of the difference between them. There's a story from Ken Worf, who was Diana's bodyguard, about being in the car with Diana and the boys are fighting in the back seat. And Harry says to William something like, it's okay for you, you're going to be king, I can do whatever I want.
It's a silent coronation, and William is already wearing it. Harry, meanwhile, is building something else. He's writing his truth, championing causes, showing emotional vulnerability, things that matter, especially to a new generation. But vulnerability doesn't always win in a system built on mystique. You can't be the voice of transparency in a family that thrives on silence without becoming the outlier. And that's where the Shakespearean tragedy sets in. These were two brothers who once stood shoulder to shoulder at their mother's funeral, who once leaned on each other when the cameras disappeared. Now they walk separate paths. William, with slow, deliberate steps, calculated, cautious, royal. Harry, sprinting in the opposite direction, passionate, unfiltered, free. And the farther Harry runs, the more it feels like the palace has shut the gate behind him. This isn't about headlines anymore. It's about legacy, about who the monarchy sees as its future, and who they quietly decided was part of its past. And the public? They've joined in. Maybe not consciously, but subtly. Harry still speaks, still advocates, still fights for something better. But his words now echo from outside the palace walls. And William? He doesn't even need to speak. His image speaks for him. He is the reliable one, the quiet one, the symbol of continuity. And in this monarchy, symbolism is everything. Harry left not because he didn't care, but because he cared too much about Meghan, about his children, about his peace of mind. But caring isn't always enough.
They seem to flip-flop from wanting the titles to very, very, very desperately wanting the titles for their children.
Oh, let's be clear here. I mean, after the birth of Archie, when it was announced his name was Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, all their sort of cheerleaders briefed that they didn't want titles. They didn't want fancy titles. They weren't that kind of royal.
Not in a family that values obedience over emotion. And for all the speeches Harry's given, the truth he's shared, and the pain he's unpacked, none of it has changed the simple fact that he left. And in the royal world, leaving is the ultimate betrayal. It's not that the family said it. They didn't have to. They just started acting like William was the only one left. That's the power of silence. And William? He's mastered it. He doesn't react to drama, doesn't fan flames. He lets the machine work in his favor. And it is. Every smile, every handshake, every official appearance is another brick in the narrative. He's ready, he's worthy, he's ours. Harry chose freedom, and he got it. But freedom in this world comes with a cost: isolation, distance, and the slow realization that the seat he once occupied has been filled. Not because someone stole it, but because someone showed up again and again and again. That's not drama. That's discipline. That's how crowns are won, without ever having to be placed on your head. So now, the story isn't two brothers at odds. It's one brother embraced by the system, and the other left speaking to a world that no longer has a seat for him at the table he once called home. William didn't become the favorite overnight. He became it over years, by staying put, by keeping his head down while the world watched, by being reliable, by making the palace's job easier. And that reliability? It's being repaid in applause. Not the kind you hear, the kind you see, in photo spreads, in headlines, in whispers. The crown may still belong to King Charles, but the future already has a face. And it's not the brother who left. It's the one who never had to say a word,